A robotics engineer at a toy company builds a lifelike doll that begins to take on a life of its own. Directed by Gerard Johnstone, M3gan is a further continuation of all those sci-fi novels and movies that warned us about robots taking over the world, the dark side of technology. Avoid Black Friday sales for this doll. Now you may be wondering what the name M3gan stands for. M3gan is an acronym for Model 3 Generative Android. It kind of reminded me, like when they said what the name stood for on this, it reminded me of an old school movie I watched called Daryl, where there's like a robot kid. The name is an acronym for Data Analyzing Robot Youth Lifeform. But Daryl is basically more like a E.T. or a Starman kind of story as opposed to a story about AI gone bad. Okay, so moving on. The movie M3gan starts with a little girl, Katie, played by Violet McGraw. She loses her parents in a car accident and is taken in by her Aunt Gemma, who's played by Allison Williams, who I just found out is actually the daughter of newscaster Brian Williams. So the gist of this movie is it kind of explores how technology is a blessing and a curse for parents. They can put technology in front of their kids and have it be sort of like a teacher and an entertainer at the same time. So these are great things, of course, but on the other hand, technology often consumes the user. So the kid at the beginning of the movie is already kind of obsessed with technology. She's playing with this Virtua pet, which is kind of like a Furby kind of pet. So when Gemma decides to use her niece as the guinea pig to fast track M3gan, that's when it basically starts to turn into Chucky for a new generation. So Chucky, of course, when you watch the Chucky movies, it has, even though the first one is the scariest one, and the idea of it definitely is frightening, because it draws upon you as a kid having this source of comfort, which is a doll, stuffed animal, whatnot, and then seeing that thing basically turn into a monster, and that thing that you have as comfort, seeing it kill all these people and then come after you as well too, or you got to stop it basically. And it has a more gradual decline for when M3gan starts attacking people. With Chucky, it's instant because it's of course like a serial killer that's possessed his spirit into a doll through a ritual. So the doll is evil from the very beginning. The M3gan puppet is freakier to me than the Chucky puppet. And the reason why is because, well, number one, there's the stature. Chucky is the size of like an actual doll, but M3gan is like a 4 foot, like regular size of a kid. And so it's already more kind of imposing because it's larger. It's human sized as opposed to doll sized. Also, because M3gan is so intelligent, the AI can figure out how to work its way out of situations or how to manipulate people. And the fact that it has kind of like a calming voice, that makes it more freaky. So Gemma was clearly not thinking about the puppet going bad on people or turning on people. Also, she's not thinking about how, if it does turn on people, about how you could defeat it, because she's designed this thing with basically like a titanium skeleton. So it's pretty much got steel inside and an iron grip. If it gets to the point where you can't turn off the puppet by voice command and you have to use physical force, it's you against steel. And it may be like 4 feet tall and it may look like this petite girl, but it's going to be stronger than you in most situations. And, Chucky, of course, looks like a redheaded stepchild. A lot of gingers, they get a bad rap for being creepy looking and whatnot. But M3gan, to me, is creepier looking because she's got that uncanny valley look where she's human-like, but there's something very off about her, and the way that she mimics humans makes it even more off about her. One of the creepiest parts in the movie is actually before she attacks somebody, she does this weird dance. So when she mimics humans, along with that uncanny valley look, and then her movements are off. So she's mimicking a human dancing, but then her movements are really off. And that just to me is like super unsettling when you watch it. And I think to me, like the scariest movies are the ones where they could be true, or they have the potential to be true. So a possessed doll like Chucky running around attacking people, it's more removed from reality. This movie, though, this shit could actually happen. At least that's what I'm thinking in my mind when I'm watching it. Well, there was this video that I saw, I can't remember where I saw it, made up on YouTube or something, but a couple years ago. But there was a Japanese inventor, and he had this kind of like AI robot, and the way that it talked and everything sort of reminded me of M3gan, how creepy, like uncanny valley it was. and how close it mimicked humans. But that was kind of what I was thinking of when I watched this movie. It's like, yeah, this shit could actually happen. So, of course, because this thing is laced with titanium as a skeleton, whenever the human skin starts to fall off of it, it's basically like the Terminator. Jenna clearly should have watched the Terminator before she made this puppet. So, yeah, so M3gan is... Now, it does take a little bit to kick into gear, but once it does, it's pretty engaging. And I appreciate the fact that it took so much time delving into Gemma's character, her relationship with this kid, how kids get... Well, kids and adults both get super obsessed by technology, but there's a cool scene in the movie where Gemma's going to try and get rid of the doll. And the kid has a temper tantrum. You know, kids have temper tantrums when you take their toy away, but this is like a toy that the kids got this much more attached to because it's got like a fake human connection with it. And especially since the parents are gone now, the puppet has become like a surrogate parent for the kid. So when the kid freaks out and has a temper tantrum, it has far more of an effect because to the kid, you're not just taking its toy away, you're taking its friend away. You're almost taking like another person away from them. It's like they're almost like they're losing another parent in their mind, more or less. Because it delves into those elements so well, that to me makes this like a really good overall movie. And after it gets going, it's paced pretty well. So I think this movie is going to do really well. It's going to at least have a couple of sequels. It may even have like some spin-offs of its own, like once you introduce some other robots or whatnot. So kind of the sky's the limit for this, especially since it's a Blumhouse movie and they're made on lower budgets. Anyways, yeah, M3gan is definitely worth checking out in the theater. You know, if you want to see the more gory version, wait till I'm pretty sure that like when they do a Blu-ray release or whatnot, they'll do an R-rated version, or maybe they'll release an R-rated version in the theaters, depending on how well this does. So, Dead Harvey Classroom time. What can we learn from M3gan? Don't build potentially dangerous AI puppets overnight. Don't reinforce puppets with titanium. If you're going to talk down to an advanced AI puppet, wait till they're out of the room. Building a puppet this smart means they could outmaneuver the prosecution in a trial. That's kind of what I was thinking when I was watching this movie. Is like, if you're making AI this advanced and it is murdering people, and let's say it gets caught, like the puppet gets caught and it goes on trial. With AI this developed, it's going to be better than any lawyer. And if this puppet has gotten so advanced, does it fall into the category where it's almost like a person, you treat it like a person in a trial? Either way, it's going to probably outmaneuver any lawyer that it's up against. So, last but not least, it's better to make puppet AI dumb as shit in the testing stage because you're going to avoid a lot of repercussions if you do. Those are lessons that I learned from the movie M3gan. So yeah, check this one out. Blumhouse has a new franchise. And something else to sort of ponder before we go. Don't take this movie too seriously. Take it for entertainment like it's designed to be. But also take heed to the warning about AI being about technology being too involved in our lives. I'm not saying just like get rid of all your technology on a whim, like people say, like when they want to throw their TV out the window, but never do. I'm not saying do anything crazy like that, but maybe ask yourself, do you really need to command all your devices through voice activation or remote control? Maybe ask yourself if it may be a better idea to turn the microphone off on your computer or your phone when you do a search, instead of letting Siri listen to everything that you say and spy on you, and letting all the advertisers steal your information. Maybe go turn off the light switch instead of commanding a robot to do it for you, or asking a robot to turn the different song for you, because the robots are spying on us, they are watching us, and if we are not careful, and if we get too lazy, what James Cameron once prophesied when he was most likely very high when he made the movie Terminator may just come true. Well, that's it for this week. Thanks for listening. Drop us a line at mm@deadharvey.com if you have a film you'd like us to check out. And until next time, whenever you stumble into an antique store or a pawn shop, and it looks like one of those little dolls with the soulless eyes and the porcelain face makes eye contact with you, run out of that building as fast as you can.